We're starting the Ezra Hashem Siman Ayin. Okay, and this whole section of the Sefer is being Isaac and slugging up tainas that the Sionim said. So here's one that he's going to spend a few Simanim on. V'hein heruni achshav. In the middle of writing the Sefer, they showed me now an Allah, a piece of paper, Nidfesis Me'eretz Yisrael, which was printed in Eretz Yisrael. She'eni yodea mihu. I don't know who the author is. Ach zeh ani roya b'dvarav. This I see in his words. Shehu tziyoni nilhav. That he's a fiery Zionist. Umatzik esu apikorsim, and he's bringing proofs to justify the apikorsim. Af b'dvarim she'en bohem shum mamash. Even with arguments that have nothing to them. Okay? V'hevi gam me'akdamas Reb Chaim Vital. So one of the arguments he brings is that in the introduction written by Reb Chaim Vital, Hanidfas b'tchilas Sefer Ho'etz Chaim.
Oh yeah, the Kabbalah. I used it up the Kabbalah.
Right, Reb Chaim Vital's Sefer, Shevuos she'al Yisrael shelo yidchu husaketz, that this oath that the Jews should not force to end, Eino ela ad tashlum ho'elef shana. It's only until 1,000 years after the Churban, below Yoiser. So that would be until the year 1069. Basically, after that, they say that this shvu is not in effect. The Zeh of Gomer. This is a complete forgery, a complete misrepresentation of what Reb Chaim Vital said. She'enu medaber sham klal me'oisa shvua. He's not talking about the shvua that's on the Jewish people not to force the end. Rather, he's talking about Hashem's shvua. That Hashem made a shvua that he's not going to end the galus until a certain amount of time. And that Reb Chaim Vital says that shvua is only until 1,000 years. But after 1,000 years, Hashem could end the galus early, whatever, with our tshuva. I mean, he'll end it whenever we do tshuva. But until 1,000 years, he made a shvua not to end it unless there's tshuva me'ahava.
So it's the opposite of what the Sionim say.
It's going on Hashem's shvua, it's not going on our shvua. Okay, now, just before we go on, I want to show it inside, so take a look. Hakdamas Reb Chaim Vital, page 3, Sefer Eitz Chaim. He says, Omar oid b'medrash hanal. It says also in that medrash, uvegin da hishbati eschem b'nois Yerushalayim. Not sure which medrash he means here, because he says uvegin da. That's the lashon that's not in medrash Rabbah. Hishbati eschem b'nois Yerushalayim v'chulu. Pirish hadvarim. The meaning of this shvua is ki hinei ha'isa hashvua ha'gedolah l'Elokim, that there was a great shvua to Hashem, shelo yo'oru es ha'geula, that Jews should not arouse the geula, ad she'oisa o'ava tiyeh b'chefetz, until the love is desired, v'ratzon toiv, and the good will, k'masha kasav techpatz, k'ven ha'oived esav, like a son serving his father, v'ayil b'chol paltrin delay, a son that could go into his father's palace anywhere he wants, u'v'chol ganizin delay, in all his father's hidden places, v'loy ke'eved, and we become like that son, not like the slave ha'oived b'mishneh. I don't know what it means, oived b'mishneh, v'lokech ha'shivcha, amanas the kabel pras, and he marries a shivcha, and he does it only to get the salary that he's paid. He's not like a son. Ukvar amru razal, Chazal say, ki zman hashvua hu hi ad elef shanim. Here's the key words. The shvua goes until elef shan, until 1,000 years. Kamasha kasid zal, as Kamasha amru zal, like the Chazal say, bebraisa de Rabbi Yishmael, the Pirkei Hechalos. This is the Kabbalah say of Pirkei Hechalos. Al pi Daniel, v'zel shaynai, v'is yavun biyadei ad idan v'idanin uplag idan. It was given into his hand, meaning galus was going to last until a time and 2 times and a half a time. Ve'ech herahu HaKadosh Baruch Hu liYaakov Avinu star olam v'hu star shel Bavel ayin ukin. Okay, this is mysterious words, and I don't know how he gets 1,000 out of the words idan v'idan and plag idna. But take a look at the next thing. V'chein v'zoyar parshas Vayera daf kuf yud zayin amid aleph. The Zohar says, Rabbi Yossi, Kol da arichu zibna yatir mikama de'ukme chavraya, that the galus has lasted as longer than the de'ukme chavraya, longer than the other chaverim of the group said it was. The ihu yoima chad, which is 1 day. Galusa de Knesset Yisrael, the galus of the Jewish people. V'loy yatir tichsiv nasanani shemema. Kol Yom Dava. He made me all the day lonely. So one day is the Golus, and one day in the Kodesh Baruch Hu's eyes is 1,000 years. So therefore, it's 1,000 years. So now, take a look at this. Now, this is the Hakdama to Shalosh Tshuvas Yaskil Avdi.
Who is this?
By a Sephardi Mekubal named Rabbi Vadia Hedaya.
Was he Rishon Acharon?
No, he's a contemporary person. He was around at the time of Hakamas Medina, and he wrote this 10 years after Hakamas Medina.
Was he a Tzioini?
Yeah, and he was a Tzioini. Take a look what he's going to say. 1958.
Like a Rabbi Yosef type.
More of a Tzioini than him, because you see Rabbi Yosef. We read last week that he said that the Shalosh Shevuos are still in effect. Take a look that this person is going to say that it's not in effect, and this is probably what the Rebbe saw, or a different version of it, because this is 1958, the same year that he's writing Vayoel Moshe. Okay, he says, "Hine," the top of the page 4. "Hine yesh mefakfakim b'hakamas Medina." There's some people who aren't so sure about this this Medina that we made here, the Hagbar so Aliyah and the increase in immigration. They say that it's against the Shalosh Shevuos. And this whole paragraph, he brings down the whole Shalosh Shevuos. And then he says at the bottom here, in the next paragraph Aleph, he says, I'm very upset that
I'm angry at this.
I'm angry that I even have to answer such a question. He says, Milvad, kol echad v'yechad misrael ma'amin b'ashgacha. Everybody believes that everything that happens through ashgacha, she'en l'cha shum davar katan v'gadol ha'mizrachish b'olam, she'en l'mito yisbarach. That nothing in the world happens without Hashem.
Oh, that's an old one. Right. That means Hitler must have been good because he was from Hashem.
Right. Al derech ma she'amru chazal, ein adam noikef etzboim momata, that nobody could even stub their toe unless Hashem decreed it.
Only the Hashem allows it. It doesn't mean he made you do it. The Hashem allows it.
There it means he decreed it, I think. But I think the pshat is like this: that Avada, everything happens through Hashem. But when something is your choice to do it or not to do it, exactly. you can't attribute it to Hashem.
So, right. Even moving your finger like this to a person, it's still Hashem.
So if it's your choice, so he looked at the Medina as being something that just happened by itself. He's ignoring the fact that we made it. Yidden made it. It's not something that just happened. Okay, let's skip to the next paragraph. Here's the part we want about the Reb Chaim Vital. The actual issue of the Shalosh Shevuos in this Boyan Ksas Besifrei Rishonim Shekidmunu. If we look at the books of the Rishonim, Nimtzaki Bizmanenu Zeh Shehi Bebchinas Ikvas in the Mashiach Ein Makom L'Chalash Shevuos Halalu. That in our time, which is before Mashiach comes, there's no place for these oaths. The Halach Divrei Hakadosh Reb Chaim Vital Zal B'Akdamasa Nifla B'Sefer Eitz Chaim Omru Oid B'Medrash Hanal. Okay, now here's the whole Reb Chaim Vital that I just read.
Except Reb Chaim Vital never said we're now it was Mashiach.
Right, but he said that it's until 1,000 years. This is what he's taken out from it.
And until then it didn't happen. Until then it never happened since then.
Skip down to the bottom of the paragraph. Hinei l'cha mefurish. You see from this explicitly ki inyan hashvuos hu rak be'elef shana harishon she'achar hachorban v'lo yoiser. The shvuah only lasts 1,000.
So the Gemara never said that.
It's not the Gemara, it's Reb Chaim Vital, and he never was talking about the shvuah of the Jewish people.
It's in a different medrash.
What?
The shvuah in a different medrash, right?
No, the shvuah of Ksubas, Kufid Aleph.
Yeah.
You mean what shvuah was Reb Chaim Vital talking about?
the one in the medrash.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's talking about a shvuah that's on Hashem. Hashem made a shvuah not to make a galus. He said, Hashem shvati bi'api imigoyin omenuchasi. That's the shvuah he's talking about.
We say every week in Kabbalah Shabbos.
You're right. And there's a Gemara in Baba Basra where Rabbi Chana was in the Midbar and he heard a baskol coming out and saying, Oili shenishbati v'achshav shenishbati mi meferli. Woe to me that I swore, and who will be made for who will annul my oath?
And who was?
So he went back and he told the Rabbanan that he heard this, and they said, well, why didn't you say Mufarlach? Why didn't you annul Hashem's oath? We'll get out of Galus early. So Rabbi Chana said, I was afraid that he was talking about the oath not to bring a mabul anymore. That's the Gemara in Bava Basra. V'yan shemuatim mimuatim hema haragilim b'lashonis to'ari. Okay, so the Rebbe says, since very few people today understand the lashon of the Arizal, the Reb Chaim Vital. Okay, with a kisher dvarav, so people, very, very, very few people understand the connection between his words. So yesh makom lahatois es habrias. There is a place to fool people with this Arizal. was that. Therefore, I'm going to expend a little time explaining this whole inyan. Just one more thing before we start. I want to look at this one place that's a little different from the Chaim Vital. This is Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac Herzog, the first chief rabbi after Hakamas in Medina, and he wrote a sefer here, an article here explaining how he thinks that a Medina is permitted. So one of the things he says here is, he says, Soif davar shaharambam lefichach lo hiskir es hashvuos. The Rambam doesn't mention the Shalosh Shavuos. Lefichach ledaitoi kvar niftarnu mehem.
Oh, 1,000 years passed already.
Well, he's going to say that in a minute. But first he says, we're already parted from the Shevuos la'achar she'umois avru al hashvuos shehutzal aleihem, because the nations were over on their Shevuah first. So
that's a common argument that they were over their Shevuos.
Okay, umilvad zois kvar mosar talmidoi shel Reb Chaim Vital zal bal shevet muster. That the Shevet Muster, which was a person who lived in Turkey in the 1700s, his name was Rabbi Vayoel Cohen, Smyrna, and he was a Talmud of Reb Chaim Vital. I'm not sure exactly how could he be a Talmud, because he's a little bit far removed from him. Reb Chaim Vital lived in 1620, but maybe he was a Talmud of a Talmud. Anyway, so he writes, Shvuos hugbalu bizman. The Shvuos were limited ad lit haschalas ho'elef hashishi, until the beginning of the 6th millennium. Ukvar oni peturim mehen. We're already patur now. So he's saying a different man. He's saying it's not 1069. It's the end of the Elef Hashishi, which is when 1240, right, in the secular calendar. Okay. Hinei zeh vadai. So now, Dr. Rebbe, Hinei zeh vadai. This is clear. Shemasha omer b'krav v'gemara azhar al Yisrael stam blizman. That if the Torah says, or the Gemara says, a prohibition without any zman, you can't go afterwards and say, oh, that was only until a certain time, and after this time it becomes...
But everything the Gemara said, we give no gvul to until you give a certain time.
We see even bigger chiddush, that even when the Torah does give his man, you have to have a heter for it. In other words, so it says before Matan Torah, al precious shel shloishes yamim, that the men and the husbands and wives had to separate for 3 days, and they said the fair is 3 days, right? For these 3 days, don't be with your wife. And even so, they weren't allowed to go back until the Torah was matir to them explicitly. Right? And Moshe said, Hashem said to Moshe, go tell the Jews to go back to their tents. Rashi holds that the pasuk really says that the Isser was given only for 3 days. So we already know from this pasuk that it's only for 3 days. And nevertheless, it wasn't mutter until the Torah was matir it. Tosfos holds it's not so explicit that it's only for 3 days. And according to that, you need a pasuk to be matir it. Even though it was obvious it was after Matan Torah, so the tam became batal. The reason is no longer applicable. Okay, the whole reason of the separation was for Matan Torah. And still they needed the Befer Sheheter to go back. So you see that you don't just say, okay, an Isser is only up until that the pasuk says there, the Medrash says there, Mahu ad shetechpatz. What does it mean until this is desired? Malchus shel Maila, until the upper kingdom, Hashem's kingdom desires. That when the Midas Hadin decides that it's the time for the Geula, I'm going to bring it with koila koilas. V'lo akiv, I'm not going to delay it. That's why the pasuk says ad shetechpatz, ad kam l'shoinai. So you see that this oath is until the last minute of Galus. Until the time of Kodesh Baruch Hu wants. The Gam Oz, and even then, it's not going to be us to do it. We're not going to be over on the Shavuot. He'll bring it on its own. And we're not allowed to push for it even 1 second early. Uvatargim Yonis al Shir Shir in Pirush Hashvuah Shlishis. The Targum Yonis we brought down earlier, I think it's Chav Vav, Chav Zayin. Shezeh Mashbia Melech HaMashiach Shaloi Lizgaros Be'amed Ara. That Melech HaMashiach is being mashbia us not to go out, not to start up wars against the nations of the world. L'meipach bin galus to go out of galus. L'limroid b'chayaloi say to Gog Magog. Here's the part he wants to show: not to rebel against Gog Magog soldiers. Shezeh Eino Yala b'mois HaMashiach. Obviously, if it's talking about Gog Magog, it's talking about b'mois HaMashiach, and even so, even at that time, it's also to do it. Shekefi asher anuroim. We see from this who harba acher hoel of shanim. We see that now it's many years after the 1,000 years. It's almost 1,000 years after the 1,000 years, right? She'ein l'shvuah zu shum zman. We see that the oath has no zman because we see that if Mashiach didn't come yet, and this oath is said on Yimois Mashiach, like the Targum Yonason, it obviously applies even after Elef Shanim.
Yeah, you don't.
Say she'en l'shvuah zu shum zman. We see the shvuah has no time. El ha'ad she'yeh chayfetz v'ratzon shamayel, until it's Hashem's will. V'harambam b'igeres teman. Another raya. The Rambam says, cost of tama shvuah b'shvil sha'al yidei oirech ha'galus. He says, Adarabba, the reason why there's a shvuah is because the galus is long. It's not that the galus is long and okay, the shvuah is batal. No, the whole reason for the shvuah is because the galus is so long, tiftzar, that the Jewish people will push. They'll push to get out before the time, haroi. So that's why Hashem had to write a shvuah. In Cain, ikra tama shvuah, hu b'shvil oirech ha'galus. The main purpose of the shvuah is for the length of galus, for a long galus. Levasoif. At the end of galus, shezeh gorim yoister lahaftzir. When the end is coming closer, that's more of a yetzer hara to push to get out. There's more of a yetzer hara for it. The Rambam who spoke about the shvuah and all the other poskim who spoke about it, they all were living after this time. They were all after the year 1069. Nobody had any havamina to disagree. I don't have to bring any more proof to this. That obviously the shvuah is noyeg even bizman hazeh. If we could say on such a thing that an isser that's written in the Gemara, written in the pasuk, that it has a zman, that it has a time limit,
would have said so.
Not only that, but we could say it on everything. He's saying, if you could say that any isser stam sheyesh la gvul zman, that it has a zman, then even though it wasn't written in the Gemara, that nuchal lahatir chas v'shalom kol Torah, we could be matir the whole Torah.
Yeah, well,
anything, any derabanan or any deraisa even, you could come up with as far that this deraisa is only noig until the 1,000 years. Let's say a makubal writes a sefer. Oh, you know what? Shabbos is only noig until 1,000 years. You could do anything.
Yeah,
well, this is talking about totally being matir.
Yeah, but
to make up from your head. Tam she'ein noigata.
Well, the Reform did.
Okay,
yeah,
this is not
like the Haskalah did. The Haskalah made all read why the Torah was abolished.
This doesn't apply today. That doesn't apply, and basically you could be matir anything this way. The zeb bar she'ein li stapik boy. So this is very clear. You can't have any suffix that the shvuah is noig b'manas there. What did Reb Chaim Vital actually mean? He's going to explain in the next two siman.